Ah, welcome back to the Quarters of Chaos. It is good to see you again. I knew you would return. They always do. I am the old man. I would like to talk to you for a little bit about my first game of 11th edition of Warhammer 40,000, or 40k, whatever you want to call it. The fact is, there is a new edition, and I played a game of it the other day. Just recall the wisdom of my Quarters of Chaos. Editions come and go. So now we have left 10th, and we are now at 11th edition. I have some thoughts, positive and negative. I will tell you that I fought this battle at my local hobby store against an opponent I have never played against before. He was a great guy, great opponent. We had a lot of laughs, and we didn't take it too seriously. I originally wanted to play, obviously, the Death Guard, but when my opponent informed me that he had Imperial Knights, I could not resist a joust between the Knights of the False Emperor and my Knights of Nurgle. It was a 2,000-point game, and now I want to show some images of that battle. I did not film it, but I did take pictures. Let us take a look at two very nicely painted armies. With 11th edition just released, I knew I wanted to get a game in as soon as possible. So I reached out through the Warp, aka Discord, to find someone who would fight with me on the field of battle, aka our local gaming store. I found an opponent. His name was Dominic, and at first I was going to do my Death Guard against his Imperial Guard, but then he typed that he also had an Imperial Knight army. That was it. I knew I had to get my Chaos Knights out there. A real knightly joust, if you will. So I made my 2,000-point list, and I decided to go for 3 one-point detachments. The Bastions detachment, the Hunting Warp Pack detachment, and the Iconoclast Fiefdom detachment. It turns out a couple of those did not help me so much against other knights, but that's okay. When we got to the store, I must say I was very happy and impressed. My opponent's knights were all painted. One of the things, and this is not gatekeeping on my part, but one of the things is that so many players don't paint their armies. They show up with gray models. Now look, I get it. Life gets in the way. But it was so great to have someone who would also really taken the time to paint his knights as well. I already knew at that point this was going to be fun. So we met, we set up, and I must say that setting up the battlefield, we had sweeping engagement. Trying to measure where these now odd-shaped pieces of terrain layouts go, that actually took quite some time. Now perhaps once we're both better at it, more experienced at it, but setting up the map, that took a while. I I decided to go with the detachment that gave me Disrupt. And in our configuration, that meant I would have the mission of Death Trap. So once we deployed, started to move, and at first I was doing quite well, booby-trapping certain areas of terrain, taking some pot shots at my opponent, and it went back and forth, but I, at first, was claiming the win. I even managed to destroy his Lancer Knight and a couple of his Arbigers. Furthermore, my Plague Bearers appeared rather inconveniently for my opponent, and Dom had a very hard time killing all of them. Granted, the Plague Bearers did not do much damage in their turn, but they were enough to tie him up for a while. Unfortunately, his Canis Rex proved to be my undoing. Canis Rex managed to kill 2 of my larger knights. In the meantime, his others were whittling my forces down. By the end of the match, he had won a score of 58 to 66. That was a very good game. It was a fairly close game. My opponent, Dominic, he was so nice, so laid back. We're having some laughs, admiring each other's knights and how they look on the battlefield. It was a fun game. There are some caveats, though. I still think the rules are a little too bloated. He and I were both making mistakes on the rules, and we knew that. And, nobody got mad about it. Nobody's like, oh no. It happens. There's so many rules that it happens. So we were consulting the book and trying to figure it out. He was not the type who said he knew everything and said, that's it, you lose. Right? It wasn't like that. I like the detachment system. I like the idea that you can determine your mission that way. But Death Trap, reading it, it's a little, not complicated, but I just feel it adds another layer to an already dense rule set. With that said, I am definitely looking forward to my next game. What are your thoughts on this? Thus, while I lost a battle, it was certainly a close one, and I did have a very good time with my opponent. He was not a crazy, must-win at all costs tournament-style player. We both made mistakes with the rules, we both questioned the rules, but we also had a very, very fun time doing it. I still maintain that current Warhammer is a bit too complex for its own good. Now, there are some theories out there as to why they do it this way. I just feel that some of the rules and it's just too complex and there's contradictions and stuff like that. I like the new mission system. However, I am concerned that it's just now one more layer of things to remember. What I have to do and what my opponent has to do and how I should stop him. I like the idea, I like the complexity, but I also feel that it is yet another layer of stuff you have to know. And I think there is potential for abuse in that system as well, among more, how shall I say, competitive players. That's just my initial thought on it. It could change. You may agree or disagree with me. I intend to play again. Just remember the wisdom of the quarters of chaos. Editions may come and go, but chaos is eternal.